Hello, Tech Pros, episode 217.
There is no try. You have to do the practice in order to learn from it. You can read like a billion books on it, and you can listen to a billion podcasts, but the actual practice of it is you sitting down and doing it.
Welcome to the podcast where I chat with professionals who are getting the job done using technology 7 days a week. Each week we start with Motivation Monday. Tuesday is about productivity, Wednesday, leadership, Thursday, technology, Friday, people and communication, Saturday, entrepreneurship, and Sunday, being unplugged. All right, let's get started. Hello, Tech Pros. This is Chad Bostic, and I'm excited to introduce our featured guest today, Boom Shikha. Happy Sunday, Boom.
Hey, happy Sunday to you as well.
So I'm still confused, even after we talked in the beginning. So throughout the episode, do I refer to you as Boom Shikha, like the full name, or Boom?
Boom is fine.
Boom?
Boom
Cool.
is usually what people call me. Yep.
That's like the perfect, awesome name for this topic that we're going to be talking about today and being unplugged. So I love having you on here on this episode today, Boom. This is going to be fantastic.
Thank you so much for having me. You know, it's so rare that people are actually excited to talk about meditation. It's something that is scary to most people and something that's foo-foo and, something that people think is just random and nonsense. So I'm glad that you can actually accept the fact that, this might be something that you could adapt into your own practice. So I'm so grateful.
Well, I am not going to negate any of those other feelings that those other people have. I think they are perfectly reasonable to think that, and I absolutely have those exact same feelings today. But you know what? I have learned that I need to embrace the embrace the strange and embrace the uncomfortable, and to learn a little bit more about myself and a little bit more about other people, and just be a person that's open to the diverse thoughts and cultures around the world, and if it's not illegal or immoral, then I'm willing to give it a try and maybe learn something. So for our audience, since I know you, but our audience don't, Boom Shikha is a serial entrepreneur and wanderluster online business owner, yogi, author, and avid meditator. She's interested in helping you find your life purpose and get to your level 10 life. What is a level 10 life? That sounds amazing.
And that's something that a lot of people ask me that question. It's surprising to me that people wouldn't understand it right away. For me, I think that, I have this block. Most people do have this block that if I'm doing really well in my business, then I sometimes feel, okay, maybe I'm doing so well in my business, that means my relationships are all going to fail. Or if I'm doing really well in my relationship and I'm in a loving, kind, awesome relationship, I feel like, okay, I'm going to stop making any money in my business, and everything else in my life is going to go to hell, So most of us have these blocks. We believe that if one area is doing well, then we will be crappy in another. And so a level 10 life believes, that kind of belief system says that you can have a level 10 activity level in every single area of your life, and that is possible altogether. It doesn't mean that you need to compromise on any area. It doesn't mean that if you're doing well in one, then you're going to do badly in another. It means that you can be prosperous, you can have a great relationship, and you can be in great physical health and everything else.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's amazing. It sounds wonderful. That's even better than what I thought it was going to be, because I just did this, 6 or 7 part series on creating your own Dungeons and Dragons campaign, which I realize it's super, super geeky and nerdy. But, when you talk about leveling up your character, kind of like a video game, you level up your character in different areas. I thought maybe we were going to get like magic missiles and fireballs and be able to wield epic swords and stuff like that. But no, this sounds amazing. So we want to win at business. We want to win in relationships and personal life, in health and everything else. And we can get each one of those attributes in our life up to a level 10 consistently across the board, and not be like, well, I'm doing well at business, therefore the rest of my life must suck and I have to be a miserable person.
Exactly. And that's what I've found we believe in a lot of cases. I used to believe that as well, and so that's why when I was doing really well in business, I would stop hanging out with all my friends because I was like, I'm going to ruin it anyway, so what's the point? I've realized now that if I'm doing really well in business, that means that I need to make sure that I'm taking care of all my family and my relationships with my friends and my partners and all of those people there in my life. everything is important and everything can be at a level 10.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. And I struggle with this area too, honestly, Boom, because when I'm focused, like I get very, very focused on whatever it is that I'm focused on improving, right? So right now it's the podcast and 7 days a week and focus on that.
Yeah.
And the reason why I put this Sunday being unplugged episode in here is because I know how valuable my family and my friends and my health and my just my de-stress, right, away from work and away from stuff. It is so valuable to me. And as a 9-to-5er, when I was working those jobs, it was very easy for me to unplug. And it was very easy for me to be like, okay, I'm not working this weekend. Like, we're going on vacation. I'm leaving my cell phone at on my desk, and I'm just gonna kind of forget to answer the calls whenever my boss calls me, right? And I'm going to totally get unplugged and just live here in the moment. But as an entrepreneur, like, I struggle in this area of feeling like I have to be in it 24/7 in order to make things happen. And so I love this episode, this being unplugged episode, because I get to talk to people like you who remind me that, hey, Chad, like, you can like do both at the same time. Yeah. And that's pretty awesome.
And the thing that we forget as entrepreneurs is that most of us actually get our brilliant ideas when we're spending time with family or friends or when we're de-stressing. It's not when you're deep into your work that you get your brilliant, ideas that are going to move your business and yourself forward. I mean, the most of the great ideas I get is during my meditation sessions. That is when I come up with brilliant names and branding and colors and schemes and all of the stuff that moves me forward. It's not when I'm, deep within my computer typing away like a crazy person. And so creativity, I tell people, happens when you're still and silent. And for entrepreneurs, that is what we need to bring more of in our life. We don't want to do the same thing as everyone else. Then what's the point? We could just be in our 9-to-5s. We're becoming an entrepreneur because we want to be creative. We want to create something absolutely unique and completely different from everyone else. That's the reason we got into it, I believe, a lot of times, right? Because we think that we can do something differently and better than someone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if it don't take time, it won't happen. It won't happen. Yeah.
Gotcha. So we gotta still our mind. We got to unplug from the 9-to-5 grind, or as an entrepreneur, like the 5-to-5 grind or 9-to-9. Like it's 24/7. It seems like. So we got to do that. So we've mentioned a couple of times, kind of brought up about meditation. So like, I am a complete level 0 newbie on meditation. I know nothing about it other than like the pictures that you see of people like in these pretzel yoga positions where they're like contorting their bodies into all kinds of, it looks completely painful. And then they're thinking about like nothing. They're thinking about the color gray or something. And it's, I don't know. I don't understand it. But the benefits that I hear people, oh man, I do my meditation like 10 minutes a day or 30 minutes a week or whatever it is, and they get all kinds of health benefits out of it and creativity benefits out of it and stuff. So I'm like, it sounds really interesting and I'm up for trying it, but like, I'm so scared. Like, I don't even know where to start or how to, what do I do? Like, what is it? So first of all, what does meditation mean to you? And then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, definitely. And I also would like to kind of emphasize, like every practice, meditation is unique to every person. So for me, it might mean something specific, like sitting down in silence every morning and thinking about my business. It might mean something different for you. It might mean, spending some time with your family, but spending it without any distractions of electronics or other stuff like that. So meditation is actually really a unique practice in that it depends on the person and what they're looking for from it. If you're just thinking about the typical way people think of meditation, you think that you're sitting in a cross-legged position and you're closing your eyes and you're trying to focus on your breath. That's mostly what most people think of.
Okay.
But meditation is really versatile. You can actually do a meditation while you're moving, while you're walking, while you're dancing, while you're on your computer. All meditation is about being in the present moment. So instead of worrying about the past or thinking about the future, we're actually spending our time here, right now, in the only moment that actually exists ever, which is the present moment. And so when you're meditating, it can be done anywhere, in any space, in any form. You don't have to do a specific mantra. You don't have to sit in a specific way. You don't have to say a certain thing. You don't have to focus on your breath. You don't have to do anything. All you need to do is be mindful of the present moment. And what happens to us, and they call it the monkey mind, is that your mind keeps on jumping from thing to thing. So you might start thinking about chocolate, and then from chocolate it goes to chili, and from chili it goes to that boyfriend you had in college, and then from that it goes to whatever it might be, right? And so your mind keeps on jumping from topic to topic, so that 15 minutes later you realize, I started thinking about chocolate. How did I end up thinking about my trip to Japan? It's just insanity. And so you're never able to stay in the present moment. You're always thinking about the past, the future, your plans that you're making, all the things that have happened to you, all the regrets you have, all the disappointments, all of that. What meditation does is that every single time your mind jumps to any of these different stories we tell ourselves, the movie reel that we're running in our head over and over again, it tells you to come back to the present moment. So you're sitting there and you're thinking about something different. Then you remind yourself, come back to the present moment, come back to the now. And then your mind jumps again, because it's going to do that. Our mind is powerful, but it's also really, really fickle. It moves around a lot. And so it's our duty constantly to bring it back to the present moment. And you can actually be sitting for just 5 minutes a day. That's totally fine. But you'll notice in those 5 minutes, your mind is going to jump 100 times in all of these different ways. And you're going to have to bring it back 100 times to the present moment. And sometimes it feels like you're just doing it all in vain. It just seems like a waste of time. You're just sitting there and you're distracted and you feel like you're doing nothing useful. But over time, like any practice, marathon versus sprint, you're going to keep on doing it, and then one day you're going to notice that there's going to be a space where your mind doesn't jump anymore, and you actually have a space of silence where you're able to be in the present moment without forcing yourself. And that will be a really, really momentary thing, and you're going to notice it, and it's going to disappear instantaneously. But it's going to happen, and it'll happen more and more and more the more you do meditation. And that's the reason we always tell people, be consistent. Don't think about doing a 2-day retreat right away. Just do a 5-minute practice every single day, even on weekends. Just because you think that you're on a weekend schedule doesn't mean that your mind knows that it's the weekend. It doesn't matter to our minds. So I tell people, just do a 5-minute session every single morning. As soon as you wake up, sitting in bed, just sit down for 5 minutes and bring your mind back to the present moment as much as possible. So your mind is going to jump. Your mind will be distracted. Just pretend that it's going to happen and just realize it, accept it, and just keep on bringing yourself back to the present moment just for 5 minutes in the morning. And that's all. That's all you have to do. And keep on doing this over a period of 7 days or a week, or a month. And over time, you will notice a difference in your psyche, in your spirit, in your body, in your mind, in every single way that's possible. And I just can't even imagine. I can't even tell you how many transformations have happened in my own life from all the different meditations that I've done. And I know of a lot of people who've told me the same thing. They started meditating and all of a sudden their life turned upside down. All of a sudden they were able to see clearly what was going on in their life, and they were able to make all these changes that caused their life to turn upside down. And so that's going to happen. That's just a side effect, though. The main thing is going to be that you're going to be able to live in the present moment, and you won't be able to so distracted all the time. We're actually so distracted that we don't actually realize what's going on around us. People are on their phones. They're doing whatever they're doing. There might be a fire right next to you, and you won't even notice that there's something burning next to you because you're just so distracted. And that's something, if you can just be less distracted and more in the moment, I think that would be a major benefit for most people. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that makes total sense. First of all, the monkey mind. I don't experience that. I experience barrel full of monkey minds. So I have not one monkey. I have a whole barrel full of monkeys, and they're all competing for getting my attention, and all running off, grabbing shiny objects and doing things with them. I've consistently throughout my life, and I kind of see it now in my daughter as she's just turned 7. Like, we have this ability to randomly, it seems like completely randomly, jump from topic to topic to topic within my head, like constantly. And so back early in our relationship, and my wife and I's relationship, we'd just be driving and the car would be quiet, and she'd be like, "What are you thinking about?" And I would say something, I don't know, like chili peppers. And she's like, "Okay, why chili peppers?" Well, because I saw that sign back there that said, something else, and that something else led me to this thing and this thing and that thing and that thing, and I went through like 50 different steps, and now I'm at chili peppers.
Right.
Okay, that seems really weird, but that's the way I am. And so now, okay, I'm thinking about, do I ever shut it off? Am I ever just completely present? And I got to tell you, it's very, very rare. It's very rare that I'm just like living in the moment and like having a blast. And I think one of the places that I can sometimes, every now and then, at least for 5 minutes or an hour or two, completely unplug and kind of not listen to my monkey mind is actually at Disney World. So we live in Orlando, and Disney is just like 30 minutes away. And so we go, every now and then.
Yeah.
And we were there last week or so, and my mother-in-law was in town, and we were in one of the shopping centers there at Disney, and just kind of hanging out. And my daughter was picking out things for her 7th birthday, and okay, what do you want as a treat and stuff, and just kind of being happy and hanging out and enjoying life. And she said, "Chad, why do all the ladies look so happy, and all the kids look so happy, and all the men have frowny faces on?" I'm like, well, I'll tell you, it's because they're thinking this is a complete waste of time. They're thinking about all the things they should be doing in business. They're thinking about all the money that they spent on the hotel and the flight to get out here, and now their kids and their wives, want to shop and do other things. They're thinking about all the productivity stuff that they could be doing around the house that they need to get done. It's like the garage is a mess, and they're thinking about all these things instead of just being in the moment and being happy and enjoying Disney World, right? And so I think that's, regardless of if you're at Disney or not, like that's the things that's in our mind constantly, is like, we got to be more productive, and we have to do this and we have to do that, and we're trying to push ourselves to the next level, like in your level 10 life, right? We're trying to figure out how to get to that next level of whatever it is, but meanwhile we got all these monkeys jumping around in our head, like totally distracting us with, oh, I guess I just got a Facebook notification, and look at that crazy pair of Star Wars shoes that dude's wearing. I wonder where he got them. I need to Google it and figure it out.
Yeah,
and it's just like,
exactly.
You can't ever make any progress anywhere, and you can't even enjoy being at Disney World because your mind is just playing garbage with you. It sucks.
It is so horrible because we end up living our lives in the future or the past, and we never actually pay attention to what's going on right now. So 30 years pass by and you realize, I've always lived for the future. I've never actually taken the time to enjoy what's going on right now. Or even on your deathbed, I don't want to be morbid, but a lot of people, when they actually ask them on their deathbed, what regrets do you have? Every single person says the same thing. I wish I had spent more time living in the moment rather than worrying about the past or the future. And that comes up over and over and over again, no matter where they do the survey, no matter who they ask, no matter which culture, which country, what gender, it's all the same. I wish I'd lived more in the present moment. I wish I'd worried less about the past or the future. So, we can learn from these people who've already gone through it and they have all these regrets. Why not, take the time to live right now as we are, and remember that the only thing we really have right now is this moment. The past is just a delusion and the future is an illusion. That's what people say, It's all gone. I mean, the past is all gone. You can't change it. What's the point of thinking about it? And the future isn't here yet. No matter how much you plan for it, it'll never turn out the way you want it to. So live right now, here, where you can actually control things.
Okay, so easier said than done, right? So how do we get into this mindset where we can bring ourselves back to the actual moment that's going on right here?
And that's actually, like I said, a practice. So in every moment, you have to constantly bring yourself into the present by different techniques. A lot of people use elastic bands on their hands. Every single time their mind wanders, they snap that elastic band and they remind themselves, come back to the present moment. If you don't want to be so painful about it, you could just have a notification that comes up every hour on your computer, saying that, okay, are you distracted or are you in the present moment? Even if you can bring yourself back, 9 or 10 times a day, that's more than what most people do. Or you can have a notification come up every 15 minutes. Come back to the moment, come back to the present. Or have something written out at your desk in front of you, are you in the present moment right now? And every time you look up, you're going to be reminded to come back to this present moment. But all of this is just a temporary solution. The main thing that all of us recommend, all of our meditators recommend, is to meditate. The problem is that with meditation is that you need to be consistent with anything in life, right? If you want to be successful in anything, same thing with entrepreneurship.
Yep.
If you want to be successful there, you can't just try it for 3 months and say, this is not for me, which is what a lot of people do. What you need to do is work at it for maybe 10, 15 years before you actually see any traction. And I don't want to say you need to work at meditation for 10, 15 years before you see any traction. Actually, it works really, really fast. But I do recommend that you practice it for a month straight before you give up on it. The thing is that as soon as you start working on it and you start doing it for a month straight, you'll notice so many benefits come out of it that you're going to just keep on going with it. I actually tell people, just try it for the first month. After that, I won't even have to convince you. You're going to be addicted to it. You're just going to be addicted to the process, and you're going to be addicted to how you feel because of it. It's funny because I've been meditating for 4 or 5 years, but I've always been the kind of person who starts meditating, sees that my life is going awesome, doesn't think that it's because of meditation, stops meditating, realizes my life is going to crap again, and then starts meditating again. All of a sudden, my life's awesome again, but then I stop again. So, I go through cycles. I know, it's horrendous. And so now I realize that I'm not going to do that anymore. And I've been consistent for about 1.5 years now, and I'm not going to stop because I know that the cause and effect is there. The more I meditate, the longer I meditate for consistently over time, the more I see everything else in my life just fall right into place. Everything just works out perfectly. The universe is perfect, and it helps me do everything perfectly without that much effort. And so the meditation practice is the key. Sitting down in silence every morning or every night for 5 minutes at least, noticing your mind, noticing your body, noticing everything that comes up, all the aches and pains and all the grumpiness and all the excuses that are going to come up for you. I don't want to do this. I hate myself. I hate my back. My back hurts. My hands hurt. All of this stuff is going to come up for you. It still comes up for me. I still have so much resistance to it. But then after 5 minutes, you can stop and you can go on with the rest of your day. And then you do it over and over again. Eventually, the meditation practice will just become something that you do automatically. It's something that's going to be a part of your life. You will feel odd and incomplete if you don't start your day with it. It'll be a part of you.
Very interesting. So, I've heard similar stories from a lot of different people that are just like, once you start it, like you don't want to quit. And even if you do quit, if you take a break, then you'll realize that you're doing yourself a disservice and things were better back when you were meditating. So, Boom, in just a moment, I want to ask you about how we can specifically start. Like, what is the practice for a uber beginner, a level zero meditator? In just a moment, but first we'll take a quick break and thank our sponsors. This episode of Hello Tech Pros is sponsored by Minio Cloud Storage. Minio is a cloud object storage server for developers and DevOps written in Go. The Go programming language is the emerging language of choice for modern cloud infrastructure projects, and it allows Minio to be highly concurrent and lightweight. Minio is Amazon S3 compatible, built with microstorage architecture in mind, but at its heart, Minio is simple, scalable, and supported by a passionate developer and user community. In episode 89 of Hello Tech Pros, I talked with A.B. Periasamy, one of the founders of Minio, about the importance of community support and recruiting software developers who are as passionate about their product's code as artists are of their art. Check out that episode at hellotechpros.com/89 and check out Minio Cloud Storage at minio.io. That's minio.io. Are you new to podcasting? Are you looking for a fast, high-quality, yet budget-friendly podcast production team? Let TransSource Media take care of you. With a team of professional audio and video editors, writers, and graphic artists, they can help you build your podcast from planning, post-production, and platform submission. Using only cutting-edge software and studio equipment, they're here to make each and every show sound at its best. To get a free quote, please visit www.transsourcemedia.com or send them an email at marketing@transsourcemedia.com or call them at 209-505-5693. TransSource Media, transforming businesses through the power of multimedia. Okay, we're back with Boom Shikha. Boom is a serial entrepreneur, wanderluster, online business owner, yogi, author, and avid meditator. We've been talking about how to how to get that monkey mind out of your head and settle that dude down, stick him back in his barrel, and be present in the moment. Be here in the moment as you're listening to this podcast, or an hour from now, whatever moment that you're in. Be really, really present in that, and really just appreciate life for what it is, and stop worrying about the past and the future. As you said, Boom, the past is a delusion, the future is an illusion, and it's all going to be regrets at the end of your life if you keep focusing on that stuff, what could have been or what should have been or what may be, instead of just loving life and being here in the moment. So we want to get these benefits. I want to get these benefits. I want to get this more clarity. I want to get to where I can be less distracted throughout the day. So I am a level 0 meditator. What do I start? Like, what do I do? Is it how I sit, or how I think, or how I breathe? What do I need to do to get started?
So as a level 0 beginner meditator, I would tell you not to worry about how you sit. Do not try to sit in those positions that meditators normally are shown in, because that is extremely hard on your body. It's actually really painful if you're not flexible. It'll come with time. You don't have to worry about that. What I recommend is you actually sit on a chair, because we're used to sitting on a chair. It's not going to hurt as much. You're going to be less distracted, and you won't be so miserable. And I want you to enjoy the process, not hate me for recommending. So choose a chair that's comfortable. You can even sit on a couch. You can even lie down if that works for you. And if you don't want to sit, you can lie down on a hard, level surface ground. You're not on your bed, because you will fall asleep. Meditation does cause sleepiness. So lie down, sit down wherever you're comfortable, and then do a guided meditation session. There's so many out there. There's an app called Calm. That's extremely great. It has a lot of free guided meditation sessions. Or if you don't want an app, you can go to YouTube, and there's loads of guided meditation sessions there. The good thing about the guided meditations is that you're listening to a really calming voice, and it's telling you to do certain things, relax certain body parts, whatever it might be. And you're able to distract yourself enough to get into that space where your mind isn't going all over the place, even if for a few seconds. And that really helps in the beginning, because it gives you a few wins. And I want you to have a few wins under your belt with meditation. The more wins you have, you'll feel better about yourself, and you want to do it more and more. What we do as normal, a lot of people, what they do is that they go straight into sitting really uncomfortably, and they start doing it in silence, and they hate it, and they're not getting any wins under their belt, and they stop because they just don't like it very much. I want you to like the process of it, in the beginning at least. So do it the way you like it. Sit down where you want to sit. Do it in the shower if that works for you better. If you're a busy mom, or you have a lot of kids running around, and you don't have a space to be in silence, you can even sit on the toilet and do it. I recommend, the bathroom is a silent space for a lot of busy professionals, busy people. So go and sit in there. Or if you have an office and you can close the door and take maybe 5 minutes during lunch, if that's the only time you have, then do it there. If you have a revolving chair and you can just sit on that, that's the space by your computers, do it there. There are no restrictions. It is about you and what you feel comfortable with. So sit down, do the guided meditation session, do it for 5 minutes to start with. It's not a long period of time. It's very short, actually. It'll pass by like an instant. And you'll be sitting there, and you'll notice all the different things that will come up. And I have to warn you, though, there's going to be a lot of emotions that will come up, especially as a beginner. That's the reason a lot of people get really scared of it, because you will have sadness come up. You will have emotions like joy come up, abundance, happiness, and all negative emotions, anxiety, fear, doubt, all of that stuff will come up, because basically what you're doing is you're opening up the walls. You're opening up Pandora's box. You've closed it off all of your life. You've never heard yourself, really, if you think about it. And all of a sudden, you're listening to yourself again in silence. And so just don't be worried about it. Just let it happen, let it come up, and let it go. If it comes up and it's too much for you, then, shut it off. Don't do the meditation anymore that day. Take a couple of days and then go back to it after. If you can, I recommend, if you do journaling, or if you write it out, or if you can speak about it to someone that is really close to you, try that, because instead of shutting it off, you're actually releasing it and letting it go. But remember that this is, again, a practice, and some days are going to be really easy, and you're going to love it. Some days are going to be really hard and you're going to hate everything. So just stay with it, just stick with it, keep on going. Make it as easy on yourself as possible. Be gentle to yourself, be kind to yourself. Don't be mean. If you don't do it properly, don't, say bad things to yourself. Don't say that you're, an idiot or you don't know what the hell you're doing and things like that. The way we speak to ourselves. Just be kind and be gentle and tell yourself you're imperfect. You're doing it. You're trying it out. It's a new practice and you're still learning. You're a baby. You're a fledgling. Let yourself be a baby. We would never tell a little baby who's learning to walk that they're doing horribly. They should stop. They'll never learn how to walk. So why do we do that to ourselves? Stop doing that to yourself. Just be in the process. Take the time and be kind to yourself. And eventually, over time, it's going to become so easy that you won't need the guided meditation session anymore. You'll be able to do it in silence, and you'll be able to sit in that position, that cross-legged position that you see in all the pictures. And one day in the future, far off future maybe, or a nearby future, you're actually going to be sitting there and you're going to have this moment of silence in your head, absolute silence. And you're going to be so surprised it's going to happen. It's going to actually throw you off a little bit. And then you're going to have more and more of those spaces happen, even during your day, not while you're meditating, just while you're walking around on the street. That's where we want to get to. We want to get to a point where the meditation actually comes and spills over into our daily life, where you're walking around with your family and you're actually able to pay attention to them rather than worrying about what your business is doing or how much money you're making or all of the different things you worry about. You're able to be with your children right there in that moment. You're able to be with your hobby instead of worrying about what's going on wherever you worry about, whatever your worries are. That's where we want to get to. We want the meditation practice, this present awareness practice, to spill over into every single aspect of our life. Because that's what's going to improve your life. Instead of running away from the present moment, you're going to be here and you're going to enjoy every single moment so that when you are on your deathbed, you're not going to have any regrets. You're not going to think, oh, I wish I had lived more in the present moment, or I wished I'd spent less time worrying. You would actually have done it. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it sounds I'm trying to articulate, trying to figure out what it means to me, right? Because I think everyone who's listening to this is going to have their own reaction to it. So it sounds like a bunch of nonsense, or sounds like a bunch of goo-goo stuff, or it sounds absolutely amazing, and that's exactly what I want to get. Or I'm trying to picture, okay, once I get this, and once I get these blank periods in my mind, like, how does that feel? Like, okay, I have just experienced 5 minutes of ultimate, like, total silence in my head. Now what happened because of that? Like, how much more at peace am I with the world or with life? Or what new creativity things have I decided? Or even that quiet space, like what is that like? I can't even imagine what is that what does that feel like? I can't imagine what that is like, because even when I'm quiet in my body and still and thinking about stuff, it is it's a period where I'm processing things, and I'm thinking about all the things that happened yesterday or earlier today or whatever, and I'm trying to sort through them, right? And I've struggled with social anxiety for years in the past, and so it's like listening to myself say mean things to myself and then say, no, that's not right. Be kind on yourself, be gentle. And so it's more of me talking to myself, right? If that makes sense. So I'm not like having conversations with people who aren't there. I'm really having conversations with myself and kind of trying to decide what's right, what's good, what's not right, what's good. But is meditation getting even a step past that, where I'm not saying anything and it's just like completely still and quiet? Or what is that ultimate, like, peacefulness? What does that feel like to you when you have that?
When I have that, I actually, and this might sound like foo-foo to you or to the people listening, but it sounds like I am closer to that state of love and that state of that communion with the source, whatever the source might be to you. You might call it God or the universe. And I feel most connected with myself and with the source in those moments. I feel like everything is working out perfectly. I feel at peace with myself, with everything that I'm doing. And I feel connected to the collective consciousness, if you want to call it. Whatever that spirit or their Holy Spirit or that thing that you want to use that term for, that is where I get to. But I mean, that's different for different people. I'm a very spiritual being, so for me, that is the ultimate. For you, if you're a very entrepreneurial being, or you're a great father, you're going to notice that your relationship with your kids is going to become really peaceful and devoid of conflict. If you are, like I said, entrepreneurial, you're going to notice that your business just runs in a very conflict-free manner. It runs in a way where it's become really easy for you to do what you need to do, and you get all these ideas and people coming into your life without that much of an effort. Do you know what I'm saying? It kind of moves your priorities into the limelight and makes it much easier. You can allow things to happen. Now, I know it's a very ethereal thing what I'm saying right now. It might be really hard for you to kind of integrate that into your psyche at this point, because it is something that's very different, right? And so I want you not to worry about the end result so much, because again, you're worrying about instead of worrying about the process or doing the process, you're worrying about the end result. What does it matter where you are in a year or so? What matters is right now. So do the meditation practice right now. Don't worry about what's going to happen in the future, although I know that we are all intelligent beings and we worry about that. But there's no point really, because you are completely different from me and I'm really completely different from you. My process is going to be different from yours. The stuff that comes up for me is going to be based on my life experiences. The stuff that comes up for you is going to be based on yours. So if I tell you this is how I feel, it's not going to be how you feel. There is no point even talking about it, because I can't predict for you what's going to happen. All you have to do is the practice, and it'll come up for you as it comes up. I know that's a really hard thing to listen to, but that's what it is. That's how things go in this meditation zone.
Boom, you're like my own personal Yoda here, right? Because I feel like, because you're like, get in touch with what you are, who you can, like whatever you connect into in the universe. And I'm looking up at the posters up on my wall right above my computer of the original Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi movie posters. And I'm like, that's what it is to me, dude. I'm getting in touch with the Force. And I'm going to start levitating things. My lightsaber skills are going to level up to 10. I'm going to be able to see things, visions in the future, right? And so everything that you're saying here, I'm kind of converting that into a Yoda quote. And so it's like, you must unlearn what you have learned, and do or do not. There is no try, you know?
Right.
And when you look at the dark side, wait, that's not okay. So
I love it.
This is all good. So that's my takeaway is when you meditate, you're really tapping into your inner Jedi, and you gotta really, dude, you just gotta like feel the Force around you. Just be present and feel the Force around you, and you'll be able to do some amazing things. So, Boom, before we leave, so that I can go to the bathroom and try some meditation, do you mind sharing any parting words of wisdom for our audience, the best way that we can connect with you? And then we'll say goodbye.
Thank you again, Chad, for having me on this show. It's so great to actually talk to people like you, the techie guys, the guys who are so grounded in logic. It kind of gives me, it teaches me how to speak to people, because I'm always hanging out with spiritual beings and all of us are all foo-foo. So it's really, I appreciate it, and I'm so grateful. One last thing I would kind of say about meditation is that, again, like I said, like Yoda said, there is no try. You have to do the practice in order to learn from it. You can read like a billion books on it, and you can listen to a billion podcasts, but the actual practice of it is you sitting down and doing it. So please just try it once. Try it a couple of times. Try it for a week straight, and then, go back to the books, go back to the podcast, but just try the practice first. And in order to get a hold of me, my website is called themillionairehippie.com. So if you guys want, you can come on there and message me on there, whatever you guys want. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you further. Thank you so much.
Well, Boom, Shikha, thank you so much for joining me on Hello Tech Pros, because honestly, I have the opposite problem, right? I'm surrounded by technical people who are so many people are introverted and so many people are technical and logical that we never tap into our foo-foo side. We never tap into the Force, because everything can be broken down into logic, and everything can be discussed as black or white, right or wrong. And that's all fun and that's great. And we'll have a blast doing that. But this is something that we need to talk about. A Jedi strength flows from the Force, and we got to be aware of the dark side, anger, fear, and aggression. the dark side of the Force are they. So you gotta, you gotta do that thing that you do. So thank you so much for joining me on the show and getting my mindset into that of a level 10 Jedi.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You bet. Tech Pros, whatever you're doing, just right now, when this podcast ends, just hit pause. Don't let the next episode of whatever is in your queue up. Just hit pause and just like chill for just like 2 minutes. I won't even ask for 5. Just like 2 minutes. Just chill and just think about whatever it is that you think about. And just like be cool with it. Be cool with whatever's going on right now. Whether you're stuck in traffic, you hate that traffic, but you're stuck. Hey, no big deal. Take a look around. What can you see out your window as you're stuck in traffic? See some cool new bumper stickers that you've never seen before? That's pretty cool. Whatever. Just be present. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. And we'll see you tomorrow, Motivation Monday. Take care. The show notes page for this episode can be found at hellotechpros.com/217. Do you use Slack for team communication? Join the Hello Tech Pros Slack channel at hellotechpros.com/Slack. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review, subscribe to this channel, and check back tomorrow. This has been Sunday Being Unplugged, but tomorrow my featured guest and I will get fired up and ready to face the week with Motivation Monday. On Tuesday, we'll be discussing productivity, Wednesday, leadership, Thursday, technology, Friday, people and communication, Saturday, entrepreneurship, and back again on Sunday to get unplugged. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.